Okay guys, so we're going to be talking about spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch this video anymore. So I'm going to be talking about all of the Easter eggs that I can remember from Godzilla King of the Monsters. So at the beginning of the movie, when we see the protest movement to kill the kaiju, we can see a guy with a board that says destroy all monsters. Number 2, you can hear the classic Godzilla roar be heard multiple times when Godzilla does arrive. The other Easter egg that I can remember is Rodan is contained inside of the volcano just like the original. After that, we get to see a lot of titans go crazy all over the world destroying cities. That is a recall or just a reminder of destroy all monsters, just like in the past where all kaiju go berserk and start to destroy a lot of cities. Now, talking about the oxygen destroyer, it was actually used in this movie to try and kill off Godzilla and King Ghidorah, which actually failed. In this movie, there's a lot of throwbacks to the Mutos, and we get to see a scene where everyone is sitting down and they're just talking about whether or not they should kill the Titans. And you see the Mutos mating together, and it's funny because they blur the screen out as if they were doing something wrong. The other Easter egg that I can remember is when they go underground, you see the female Muto's head where Godzilla chopped it off, so they're actually analyzing it, they're doing experiments with it. In the beginning of the movie, you get a throwback to the 2014 scene and you see Godzilla as his original 2014 almost, and you hear the classic Godzilla roar. When all of the titans go loose and berserk all over the world, you get to see some of the titans. One of them resembles a spider-like titan and the other one is like a mammoth-like titan. And surprisingly, we actually get to see a female Mutos. This is crazy, and this leaves the possibilities for so many more things with the Mutos. The Mutos are created specifically to hunt down Godzilla himself. When Godzilla and King Ghidorah first encounter each other, you kind of hear the 2014 airport scene music mixed with the original classic Godzilla music that we all love, which was freaking epic. It was the best thing ever. Something else that I can remember is when they were looking at some type of monitor, you could actually see the Comic-Con 2014 TV spot mixed with the female and male Mutos scenes from Godzilla 2014. There was a lot of callbacks to the 2014 movie for sure. Towards the end, when Godzilla is about to explode because of all of the supercharged radiation that he has, it's a callback to Burning Godzilla, otherwise known as Godzilla vs. Destroyer, which is a nice little Easter egg, or should I say massive Easter egg, for that film. Mothra was discovered by two twins just like in the original in 1961. Some of the titans that we actually saw during the destruction of the cities actually resemble some of the Toho classics, so that's a little Easter egg as well for the signs. During the movie, we do get to see a cameo of the twin fairies of the original Godzilla movies, and it is very interesting because we get to see past pictures of the old generation of the twins, and that's just a little throwback to the twin fairies. If you haven't noticed already, Godzilla 2019 resembles the 54 design. Also, he carries on the original roar now, mixed with the 2014. Now, I noticed that Godzilla 2019 has a much stronger atomic breath, just like the original, to resemble and mimic the original Godzilla or some of the past Toho movies. After Mothra sacrifices herself for Godzilla, towards the end, we get to see that they discover a brand new Mothra cocoon egg to resemble the two twin fairies, or just another Mothra reborn yet again. Those are all of the Easter eggs that I can remember. Now let's talk about the Titans. The Titans do resemble the Toho classics with a brand new take on some of them. One of them is like a mammoth-like, and one resembles like a turtle-like mountain. It's also a callback to Destroy All Monsters, which is freaking cool. And let's talk about Mecha King Ghidorah. So we do know that there's a possibility that Ghidorah can return as the mechanized form because they do find a head, and that head is the one from Mexico where Godzilla just chops it off. And because if you think about it, none of the hits actually survived, but the only hit that did survive was the one in Mexico. Something else that I really loved about this movie is that every single Titan, like Godzilla, Mothra, Ghidorah, Rodan, they all had their own original songs, just mixed with a modern take, and I just loved this so much. It brought back so many old memories from the past Godzilla movies from Toho, and it was just fantastic. It felt really good, like that epic like moment between Godzilla and Ghidorah just face to face with each other. It was very pleasing. I had a blast. And something else that I really did love, and I was super surprised when I saw the Mutos, and I think I made a post how I was talking about how it would have been cool if we actually got to see the Mutos, because I'm a big fan of Mutos, you guys know that, and I'm very glad that there's still some of them alive. We got to see a female Mutos, and that is just amazing because that gives more possibilities for S.H.Monsterarts or NECA, even other companies, to make a Mutos figure. Like, please, someone out there, you have to do a Mutos figure. Like, a lot of people have been wanting a male and female Mutos for such a long time, and that actually opens more possibilities for the Mammoth Titan, the Spider, and the other Titans that we didn't even get to see. So more monsters for us, but I really want the female or just a male Mutos. That would be freaking fantastic. And another Easter egg that I forgot to throw back is that when Serizawa sacrifices himself to bring back Godzilla to life, you see Godzilla actually bigger than ever before because of the radiation that he absorbed. Like, it was so much that he actually increased in size and just in power. His body was overflowing with so much power, radiation, and that's why he was much bigger. And you do get to see the difference in size, because when you see Godzilla defeat Ghidorah, you see all the Titans, and just remember that the female Mutos was almost on par with Godzilla 2014, and this time Godzilla just towers the female Mutos, so you do get to see a difference in size. It was just crazy, guys. Oh, I remember someone in the comments down below said that they couldn't tell the size between Godzilla and Ghidorah because Ghidorah was supposed to be so massive, and they just couldn't see that in the movie. And the reason why that is because he was smaller when they first fought each other back in the ice or whatever, right? So when you see Godzilla yet again versus Ghidorah towards the end, you see less of a difference in size because he's overcharged already. He grew so much, and that's why you don't really see a size difference between Godzilla and Ghidorah anymore, because the atomic bomb or the nuclear radiation that he absorbed within his body just made Godzilla grow so much that there's just a less gap between the size of Godzilla and Ghidorah now. So I just wanted to clarify that for some people who were just confused and they thought that Godzilla wasn't that small. That is why he wasn't that small towards the end. Surprisingly, Mothra was such a badass in this movie. I know a lot of people were underestimating her design, and everyone is complaining how she's so small, that she's so tiny, that she cannot do anything. And guys, just remember, Mothra is the only Titan who isn't like a dinosaur-like monster. Everyone else is spider-like, Godzilla is like a dinosaur-like, Ghidorah is a mythical dragon. So Mothra is just a moth. Like, what are you expecting? A giant moth? Not really, guys. And to be honest, for her to be a moth, she actually put up a good fight against Rodan and even Ghidorah. I'm very surprised, and for people who are just complaining over and over that her size is too small, guys, she's supposed to be like that. She's supposed to be a delicate moth. And in this movie, I think they did justice to Mothra, because just think about it. She's a moth, and she was putting up a good fight with Rodan. Even Rodan was catching on fire because of the lava around his wings, and you see how much damage Mothra took towards the end when she's just standing on top of the building, just ready to die. You know, she's like struggling to stand up, her wings are burning, and That's the point. She's just a moth. She's very delicate. If people don't, butterflies actually live for 1 week or 2 weeks, I think. So that's very sad. And it made me cry when Mothra got killed by Ghidorah, or she sacrificed herself, because crazy enough, when I was going to see Godzilla King of the Monsters, on my way, I was walking and I saw two dead butterflies just hugging each other. And as soon as I saw Mothra get killed, it just reminded me of the butterflies that I found, and it was just so sad. But it was all for the greater cause because she gave her energy to Godzilla. But yeah, guys, overall, I think Mothra, she did a good job with her powers, and I would have loved to see more of Mothra, maybe showing her display more of her powers from the Toho classics. Talking about powers, Rodan was one of them. He did not have any, and it was kind of disappointing because I wanted to see more of Rodan, and I wanted to see Rodan fight against Godzilla, and that did not even happen in this movie. It was pretty much Mothra versus Rodan and Godzilla versus Ghidorah. Even when Mothra was about to die and Godzilla was just right in front of her, Godzilla didn't even do anything to save her, which is pretty weird. Like, I don't even know how Godzilla couldn't help Mothra, because even when he was fighting Ghidorah, he could have easily turned around and tried to blast Rodan, which I don't know, guys. What do you think about that? I think it would have been even more badass and epic if we saw Mothra just working along with Godzilla to tag team both Ghidorah and Rodan, just doing awesome combinations. Maybe Godzilla using his atomic breath while Mothra blinds everyone else, or just they do something very epic. And I think that is a missed opportunity that Michael Dougherty could have had with all of the Titans. And honestly, I think every single Titan was almost perfect. The only one that I told you guys that I did not like was Rodan, because he did not display any type of powers. Ghidorah was perfect, Godzilla was perfect, Mothra, she was too. The only one was Rodan. I'm not sure if he was meant to have powers or not. Who knows, guys? Who knows? Something else that I was super surprised is the way that Godzilla uses his tail to knock down Ghidorah. And I was thinking to myself, how is he supposed to use a shorter tail without any spikier tip, or just a spiky tip? And he actually uses it to knock down Ghidorah, and I really love that a lot, because it just shows how Godzilla has evolved with his fighting skills. If you compare this Godzilla to 2014, there's actually no comparison. This Godzilla for sure has more advanced techniques to fighting Ghidorah and other kaijus, and I just love the way that he displayed all of his power. It was fantastic. I love the moment where you see all of the helicopters alongside with Godzilla just ready to encounter Ghidorah. That moment was just so epic. Another moment that I really did love was when Mothra put like some type of spider web on Ghidorah's two heads, and one of the heads was trying to take off the spider web, and next thing you know, you see the reflection of Godzilla 2019, and he just crushes down Ghidorah with the building. That moment was just so good, man. It was so good. Okay, so another scene that was very emotional for me was when you see Rodan coming out from the volcano, and the reason why that actually hit me so hard is because it's very realistic. At some point, whether it's today or in the future, the volcano in Mexico is going to erupt sooner or later, and just seeing all those people get killed by Rodan is very, very realistic. And I don't know, it just hit me and I felt very emotional. But it's very scary. I gotta say, it's scary. Okay, now I want to talk about Burning Godzilla. The moment when they were in the Arco jet or whatever, stealth bomber, they mentioned that Godzilla was overflowing with so much radiation that in 6 minutes, I think, or even more, he was going to explode because of all of the radiation that his body just couldn't handle, because Serizawa actually supercharged them. And I was thinking to myself, wow, this is actually a callback or a throwback to Burning Godzilla. So I was thinking to myself, is he actually going to die and explode? What's going to happen? And I was so surprised. So a lot of people are very confused as to why Godzilla actually survived. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But I was thinking to myself, So if I can remember correctly, I think what actually happened and why Godzilla survived was the following. Godzilla actually transferred his energy, his burning energy, to King Ghidorah, because when you just see his leg over Ghidorah's chest, you see all of the energy slowly coming down to his leg, and then you see a big explosion. What I think happened right there is, in order for Godzilla to live, he knew that he was going to die because he was supercharged. So the only way to live was if he gave all of that energy to King Ghidorah, but not just giving it to him, but it's more of a final kill type of blow. You know, he's giving the energy to finish off Ghidorah when that explosion does come to its end. And I think the way they did Burning Godzilla in this movie was perfect. And he was very overpowered. I love the visuals that we get to see with the CGI when Ghidorah is just trying to kill off Burning Godzilla, and then he just blows a big wave of energy, and then Ghidorah is trying to cover himself like he always does with his big wings, and to no effect. He just gets dusted, like his wings just get so burned up so much that you see his wings just pure bones, and that was just so epic. And Godzilla does another explosion, and you see the other two remaining heads just turn into bones. It was just so epic. The way and the devastation that Burning Godzilla has to the city, including King Ghidorah. Now, I already saw some people complaining saying, why didn't Burning Godzilla use his spiral blast or heat ray? Think about it. His radiation blast was enough to finish off King Ghidorah, so if he would have used that, his atomic blast, it would have killed him for sure in one blow, and it would have been super overpowered. It would have made the fight last minutes, maybe seconds. So you have to understand why maybe Michael Dougherty decided not to give Godzilla his atomic blast, because it just would have been super overpowered and it would have caused so much destruction. Think about it. Godzilla versus Destroyer. He used the same thing, his atomic blast, his atomic radiation explosion, whatever. It did a lot of damage without a doubt. But the atomic blast was by far overpowered and so much stronger than his atomic radiation blast was. Now, was Burning Godzilla portrayed in a good way to honor Burning Godzilla the original? I think yes, he definitely was, with his overall design, the way he started to burn up. And because of Mothra, that's a little Easter egg that I forgot to mention. When Burning Godzilla actually does his atomic explosion, blast, whatever, you actually hear Mothra's roar or just her voice in the background. So that kind of gives you a hint that Mothra was also the cause of that power. One of my favorite things is that you hear Godzilla 2019, right? Like the classic 2014 type of roar. And then you just see Burning Godzilla walking along the city. Everything is melting. That was done very, very right. I think, I don't know, this movie just did everything so perfectly to honor every single Toho movie that was the best, that you can recall as one of the best, or one of the movies that you enjoyed the best. And just the way that he looks, it was really good. Just think about it. Back in 2014, you would have never imagined that this Godzilla had the potential to go into Burning Godzilla. And that is all thanks to Serizawa and Mothra. And it was just so awesome, guys. I mean, that was one of the best parts that I could think of right now, just looking at Burning Godzilla. And something now that was a little Easter egg that I do remember. When he was about to do his radiation blast, his spikes actually glow up in a unique way with electricity or just thunder. And that's an Easter egg to Godzilla the Planet Eater or Godzilla Earth, because that's exactly what his spikes do. So now I wanted to talk about figures real quick. Since we got Burning Godzilla, right, that pretty much confirms that either NECA or S.H.Monsterarts, they have to do a Burning Godzilla. And if they ever do a Burning Godzilla, I want it to be translucent, because that's going to give off the best effect when it comes down to a Burning Godzilla. And I just cannot wait. So the final battle, right? You have the explosion, when it goes off, you think that Godzilla died because you see King Ghidorah's, well, you see one of the heads just popping off from the ground, and you think that Ghidorah is the one that actually survived. I was thinking to myself, no freaking way, he must have regenerated his body or something. Like, how is that possible? But next thing you know, it's actually Godzilla. He has Ghidorah's head in his mouth, and just the way that he does the atomic blast, it sounded different. It definitely did, and it looked unique. It definitely topped off the 2014 version for sure. Just the way that you see Ghidorah glowing up in blue and the atomic blast just coming out from Ghidorah's mouth was unique for sure. So once that happened, I was thinking to myself, it would have been cool if in the final fight all of the titans came together to actually help Godzilla, like the Mutos, the big elephant mammoth type, and the spider, whatever. I just wanted to see all of the titans come together to kill off Ghidorah, but then I was like, yeah, I don't think it would have been the right choice, because that would have took the title from Godzilla being the alpha, because this is a alpha to alpha battle, and it wasn't right for anybody else to get between those two alphas. It's something of honor, you know. You have to honor the best of the best and respect their battle. Whoever wins wins, whoever loses then loses, and you got to show your respect. And that's actually what they do towards the end. You see the female Mutos, you see the spider, the elephant like, showing their respect to Godzilla. They're bowing down to Godzilla, and you see Godzilla staring off. And I thought they were actually going to fight. Even Rodan, I thought he was going to challenge Godzilla. And next thing you know, he's like, yeah, I don't want to mess with you. And just the size, it is crazy how much bigger Godzilla is. I told you guys, compare the female Mutos to 2014. They're almost the same size. And now compare the 2019 Godzilla with the female Mutos. No comparison. He's like, in terms of height, he's above, and Mutos is below. But yeah, I thought that all of the titans were going to challenge Godzilla. Like, I thought after they witnessed the defeat of Ghidorah, they were all going to go like crazy and challenge Godzilla. And I would have loved that in some way, that maybe two of the titans would have challenged Godzilla, and after everyone else witnessing that no, they cannot defeat Godzilla, they would have bowed down and respect Godzilla even more. Now the ending, I think it leaves more possibilities for future Godzilla films, like Destroy All Monsters, like a Skull Island type of film. And it's cool because towards the end on the news, you see that in Skull Island there's like earthquakes or tremors, and for some reason all of the titans are going to Skull Island. There's something calling them, or something is happening in Skull Island. I doubt that the one calling the titans is Kong, because it doesn't make sense. I think that there's something like a mysterious type of titan hitting in Skull Island, and it has to be very, very big to be an alpha. Only an alpha has a command to call other titans, as we saw with Ghidorah and Godzilla. So that is very strange. Something tells me that Kong and Godzilla have to team up to defeat this bigger monster. Who knows? It could be Destroyer, or it could be some type of mutated type of titan. And the possibilities are open for anything, because Ghidorah, we see that towards the end, one of the fishermen tells Charles, or I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. More than anything, I forgot his name, but the villain, the thing is that he goes there, right, and they find one of Ghidorah's heads, and that's the one that Godzilla chopped off in Mexico. In case you're confused, because towards the end, Ghidorah's heads got destroyed. So if you're confused, that's what happened. It's the head that was found in Mexico. So that could leave the possibility for a Mecha King Ghidorah. I'm not sure how that's going to work. So maybe they bring back the head alive, and somehow Ghidorah regenerates part of his body but not fully, and it's up to the humans to make a mechanized King Ghidorah. And that could be one of them, and the other one I'm not sure. But for sure, Kong and Godzilla, they have to fight something bigger. And the ending, I remember that they found a cocoon Mothra, and I believe on one of the news things it said that Godzilla was checking on the Titans to make sure everything was restored to balance and how the places that got destroyed were much better now. So that is true, that Titans do somehow restore part of the cities or part of the planet. And the ending, it showed a cave drawing of Godzilla versus Kong. Now, I don't think it's the same Godzilla that we get to see because it is confirmed that in Aftershock there was multiple Godzillas living in the past. So I think it was the past Godzillas or one of the past Godzilla that got to fight with Kong. Because if you think about it, how would Kong from this present time fight Godzilla all the way back there if he wasn't even born? Also in this movie, we get confirmation that King Ghidorah is not from Earth. He is a false king and that he's an alien type of monster that just comes to Earth and invades it just like other planets, just like in the original pretty much. And that's something pretty cool. He's not a king, he's a false king and he's an alien. So I'm curious to know if aliens are going to play a bigger role in the future. Maybe they bring another monster to fight Kong and Godzilla. Who knows? Who knows? It could be like Godzilla Saved the Earth, where they bring King Ghidorah and then they bring other monsters, maybe Orga. That could be a pretty cool possibility. I recommend you to go watch this movie. I think this is the best Godzilla film that we will ever see today. I think it beats every single Godzilla film that we have ever seen so far, and it does justice to every single one with respecting and giving honor to a lot of characters from Toho. Now, I know a lot of people are giving this movie bad reviews, but don't listen to them because they're just normal people that have no idea who Godzilla is, and they don't enjoy Godzilla. They don't really care about the story. They don't know the origins of Godzilla, and that's why I think, just think about it, most of the people that got to see Godzilla early were people that are not fans. They're just doing it because of their work. And if you compare true fans that actually got to see Godzilla, they will tell you it is the best Godzilla film ever, that they felt like a child, that they had their dreams come true with this movie. And even though it's not doing the best, because sadly, I remember when I got to see 2014, the theater was not full. And with King of the Monsters, sadly, it wasn't full as well. It just doesn't have a big fandom as we would have loved to see. And that's why I'm telling you, if you haven't seen this movie, I encourage you to invite all of your friends, all of your family, and you will have a better understanding of this movie if you are a Godzilla fan. If you saw the original Toho films, you'll understand the story and everything that goes on. If you don't, if you're not a Godzilla fan, I don't think you'll understand it, and that's the problem with a lot of reviews. They're saying that this movie sucks, that it doesn't live up to the hype, and that is totally wrong. Totally wrong. They have no idea what they're talking about. I'm pretty sure if you tell them, name every single Godzilla, they cannot even name 2 or 3 Godzillas. I can tell you that right now. Or if you tell them, name the top 5 Godzilla villains fought, they will not tell you because they don't know anything about Godzilla, and that is the true thing. Only true fans will understand this film. I think this Godzilla movie, it's 10 out of 10, the best Godzilla film ever. Go watch it. Thank you for watching my review. Before I close off the video, I just remembered that in the movie, one of the guys actually says that Godzilla can actually evolve and adapt to his environment. So that pretty much confirms my theory that a lot of you guys were saying that it wasn't true, that Godzilla 2014/2019 could not evolve, and that I was bullshitting you guys. Well, this confirms my theory, and it was kind of obvious, but for people who didn't want it to see it, well, there's your confirmation. Godzilla 2019 can adapt and evolve if he has to.